How we doing today, man? As you guys can tell by the title of the video, the winning streak is over. Sadly, it is over. And really just an overall tough trading day for me, in my opinion. We had too many trades. Too hesitant, too whatever. But we ended the day down $1.91. Our last trade was this 5-minute inverse right here. Really solid trade. It's still technically playing out. It actually still looks good. But we trailed our stop. We were down 50 at the time of entering this trade. I don't have any of the recordings today. So I can pull up the... let me just pull up how many trades we took. We overtraded. Today was a tough day, right? This week, if we look at this week, right, real quick, $35 on the week. First green week in a long time. Looks like we had a green week the last week of February, which was all right, but we still ended February on a really bad note. But in terms of that, right, we've had very seldom green weeks. And this isn't like a great week or anything by any means, right? I'm not saying it's a green week, a winning week. It was just a week that we didn't lose, right? That's the way we can best put it. We just didn't lose this week. Break-even days across the board, no trading days. So we basically just washed this week away. We just kind of practiced patience, and overall wasn't a bad week, right? I think Monday I had similar issues as today. Yesterday, I mean, I remember yesterday, but I can't remember why. It just break even fully. Just a few kind of just, we didn't get great opportunities yesterday. I was taking a little bit of trash. The trade that I ended up taking, why did I take this 5-minute inverse? Well, because it's just such a great reaction, just such a good, clear, and obvious inversion. Fair value gap, we had a clear break-even point, and we had all this low resistance liquidity. I was bearish coming into the day, mainly due to this 1 hour gap that we actually end up inversing up right here, and we had all these lows that we had relatively, or just all these stacked lows. Where did we came down and ticked this bottom, and I just really didn't buy that this was the liquidity sweep. Honestly, I just did not buy that this tap right here, that tag right there was going to be it. I really think we come back down and revisit that low, but I could be wrong. So I was bearish. We had rebalanced all the way up to this kind of resistance area, and we got a beautiful 5-minute inversion fair value gap. So I got in short there, and due to being down, due to hesitation through price through here, I trailed my stop really aggressively and got stopped out for whatever I was down pretty much. So I ended the day slightly red, which is all right. Obviously, if we would have just stuck to our plan and we just got it on the 5-minute and we just traded without emotion, we would have jumped in the short. We would have jumped in short here, got in there, and we would have had our stop loss above this gap here. We could be targeting. We could have gotten all out there. We could get all out here. We could hold all the way down here. Who knows, right? We could do whatever we want. I'd probably trail my stop loss to here now and just play it by ear. Maybe trail my stop. Who knows where, right? And if you really look at it, we would have technically been fine, right? If we got in right when it closed, we would have went to break even. It wouldn't have tagged us. Realistically speaking, though, I don't know. I probably would have got stopped at break even on this trade because of just spread and who knows where you get filled, right? But this trade is working out really well. And this is, again, another thing that I always try and remember to myself is that when it's clear and obvious, just trust the setup. Just trust the model. Because I take too many break evens I don't need to take. Why is this trade looking so well? Well, what happened here? We tagged this low. What are we going to do? We're going to come back up. We're not just going to go straight down. We retrade to this 5-minute gap right here. We hold it beautifully. We hold the 5-minute gap right here. We trade to it, we hold it, and then we displace again. We start displacing, and now we're having our price run. Look at all the chop through the morning. And that's why today I was a little bit hesitant today on my trading. I'll go over some of the other trades I took today. How many did it say we took? We took 8 trades. I mean, that's absolutely too many trades. Today was a day where the biggest problem I was running into, which I would assume a lot of you guys have struggled with before, is a lot of self-doubt and a lot of fear in my trades due to just kind of being a really weird week, right? If we look back, we had a bunch of break-even days and 2 days where we didn't trade. It's been a tricky week to navigate. Yesterday just went straight up and then straight back down. It's been a tricky week, and we've been doing better, but today's a day that we kind of regressed and we kind of slipped back on our habits and really kind of let the market take advantage of us, which is pretty unfortunate, if I have to say so myself, because there's just no reason to have a bad day like this. But what was the trades we took? I'll kind of quickly recap the ones. First one, we had an SMT here. SMT. We had an inversion. And you might be wondering, how did I lose on this trade? Well, it was because I hesitated, didn't get in right here because it was right at 10 a.m. and I was just a little bit nervous that 10 a.m. would just rip straight up. I don't know why, man. I feel like recently I've been like really scared of hourly opens for no reason. Like yes, they can manipulate, but it's just like it doesn't matter, right? Like I don't know. Really scared of that, so I wanted to see a change in state delivery under here. We get that there, and I get in right here, and I just was a little bit aggressive with my stop loss. I wanted to be a little bit tighter on the stop loss right here. I wanted to have my stop loss right there. And we ended up losing because I didn't leave my stop loss here. I didn't want to risk 50 points because that's just a really big stop loss. So if we would have gotten in when we could have, which was the inversion, we would have had a lot better stop. We could have had a really tight stop loss. And we would have gone break even somewhere around here or taken profits at this low right here. Because we do end up tagging this low. Or at least I thought we did. We must have on NQ. That's interesting. We do right here, I believe. We didn't. We made equal lows, but I would have gone break even there. I would probably taken profit, hopefully. And that was the first idea. So we lost there. Not a bad setup, just kind of bad execution. And again, not really trusting myself, not really believing the model, blah, 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 right? Same old, same old. What did we then take? Let me just turn on the execution here. Let's see. So we got in, got out. Then we took a 1 minute long, and then we just went break even right away. This was just dumb. Let's go. I think it was a 30-second actually. So we then took this 30-second. Why did I take the 30-second? Well, because I was just wanting to make some money back, right? And we got in on this. We got stopped, and we re-entered on the 1 minute, and we got stopped here. So let me take this off so we can see better. So this was 2 trades, right, that we didn't really need to take. But if we did take it, we could have just followed our plan. It would have been break even. We got in on the 30-second break right here, and we ended up closing this trade. But then we re-entered because we had a 1 minute break right here without tagging this high yet. As you can see on this candle, we didn't tag the high, so I got in here, came up, went break even. 2 trades that are absolutely awful, right? I don't need a single soul to tell me in the comments that those were bad trades, because that's why we're going over them right now, and that's why I'm saying these were horrible, horrible trades. So we took 2 horrible trades. Why was this a horrible trade here? Because it's just not good, right? The first one's fine. It's in the macro. We have higher time frame context, and we have some liquidity built up. I like this first setup. I just mismanaged it. I just probably could have taken no loss on the trade, right? We learned from it. Let's keep looking, man. Let's keep looking. What happened to our executions? Oh, show confirmations. Okay, execution. So that's 3 trades. 4th trade here was a short. What was the short on? It was on this 2 minute breaking right here. And again, these things get messy, so this is the 4th trade. Let's get rid of this. So why did we take this? Well, because we reswept this high. I don't know. I don't think we had an SMT, but we had this clear and obvious 1 minute gaps right here. I like this change in state delivery right here, getting respected. The CISD, right, the up close that swept out this high, closed below on the 1 minute, change in state delivery. Could have gotten a really good trade there and traded down to this low. 50 points, but I wanted to see this 1 minute gap break. It ended up being a 2 minute as well. So I wanted to see this 1 minute gap break. And why was this a trade that we shouldn't have taken? Well, we should have just avoided the fact that it closed so far lower, right? So what happens here? What happens here? I get into the trade. and I go short right here. And I had my stop around here, and I was going to go break even at this low. So again, this is another trade that should have been break even. Why was I going to go break even there? Well, it's a swing low. We would hope to go lower. As soon as I got in, again, I should not have ever entered down here because this is a candle that's 23 points. If it closes around here, cool. But I don't want to get a close that's all the way down right next to my break even, because most of the time it's going to tag it and go up even if it goes down. So as soon as it started chasing up, I just closed the trade, and I lost on the position. And I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have been that scared to hold the trade. So that was a loss there. And then that was trade number 4. 4 more, right? Let's continue. What do we do here? We realize that we swept this low right there. We tagged that. And then looks like we shorted one more time for who knows what reason. Got break even. So we shorted, came down, went to break even. That's another, again, non-trade. That's trade number 5. 6 and 7 are right here. And at this point, obviously I'm just going over my trades, but I want to preface this by saying at this point I was on tilt. I was frustrated. I was wanting to make money. I couldn't get a good read of the market. I was getting chopped up. I was on tilt at this point. I wasn't trading with a clear mind. I wasn't doing the things I'm supposed to, right? So I'm only going over these trades. I'm not going over these trades to say that these are good setups. I'm trying to go over and try and look back and reflect and say what was making me be so impulsive. Why was I doing this? What was I seeing? So what did I end up doing here? I ended up taking 2 more longs. So these are trade 6 and 7. I took this 30-second fair value gap inverse right here. I got in there, got hesitant, so I closed the trade, and then I got back in for whatever reason. It went up, trailed above this high, came back down, stopped me out of break even. That's all she wrote right there. Again, just not accepting risk, scared of the trade, scared of whatever, just not comfortable today. I wasn't comfortable today. I wasn't comfortable in the conditions. And if we really take a step back, and we look at the market today, the market was not delivering very well. The market was not delivering very well at all. Get rid of this. The market was really choppy today, right? I should have seen this as not a trade because it's really not a clear and obvious fair value gap. Although I did take it, cool, it's not a bad trade. It's in the macro, that's acceptable. Everything else for inverse fair value gaps wasn't very good. The best trade of the day, or the trade that would have ended up working would have been actually, we swept this low right here. We had a 5-minute order block, and maybe we had a 15. No, we didn't have anything else. Just trying to see. But a trade that actually was pretty nice that I didn't take, which was, surprising since I was on tilt. 1050 macro right here. 1050 macro, 1110 macro, right? We come down, fair value gap tap, inversion right here with a break-even point with low resistance liquidity. You go break-even this high, and you target this high, and you trail your stop after that, right? That was a nice trade. It was in the macro, right? And what are we seeing again that I need to learn from? This trade that was decent was in the macro. This trade was good in the macro, right? If we just wait for the macro, we will be doing better off 90% of the time, right? Not saying that you only can trade the macro. I don't really believe that, but definitely do see a lot better. And this is, and again, even this, the way the market's playing out right now, this is really sloppy, inefficient PA. This here, up, down, up, down. This is inefficient PA. This is a Friday price action. So that was the last trade there. And then obviously we went over this trade, and then I basically just covered the position to get me even on the day, which is bad psychology, bad mental. But I don't know. I'm happy to get out of the day unscathed in terms of P&L, but definitely a lot of stuff to do better in the future. This was my worst day this week, but I'm not going to let it ruin a good week, right? It's been a break-even week. We took 2 days not trading. We did a lot of good things this week. I don't want to undo all the hard work and all the progress we made this week and sit here and critique myself like crazy. But this was a really, honestly brutal day. And these are the days that separate the good traders and the bad traders. It's so easy. It's so easy when things are all going your way and every trade you place just hits and smacks, and everything's going your way, right? My favorite quote that I say all the time: everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. Shout out Mike Tyson, right? Everyone has a plan. Today I got punched in the face, and I didn't really react well. One thing I'm happy about, though, is I locked my account after getting even, which, I should have probably locked my account down 50 on the day after my first few trades. But we live and we learn. And again, man, this is a really tricky day. When you look at this 5-minute chart and there's no fair value gap, that's a telltale sign. Telltale sign. I don't know. That's a perfect indication that you shouldn't be trading, because 90% of the time when there's no 5-minute gap, ever, like the first 2 hours of market, it's just going to be chop. The PM session could clean us up today, but I'm not going to be trading it. I want to just get to the gym. I want to hit a run. I want to go to the beach. I want to do something outside, man, and regroup and come back better next week. I want to just kind of forget about today, or not forget about, learn from today and then forget about it, right? And what was the biggest thing we got to take away from today? Well, wait for stuff to be clear and obvious. Don't get shaken out of positions. And again, just wait for it to be clear and obvious, and don't get shaken up, right? Be confident. Trust yourself. This trade would be more than valid to take this trade down to that low. Over a 1-to-1. Perfect trade. Just get in, get out. Cool. Do your business, man. That's all it is. Another thing I want to do going forward is just stop being so greedy with take profits. I want to just be hidden trades, 1 to 1.5, 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s, right? I want to just be happy with that, because especially on a day like this, you're not guaranteed to be. What makes you think that on a day where it's chopping and it's range bound and it's kind of trending, what makes you think you're the guy that's going to say, yeah, I'm going to get in here, it's not going to touch my 30-point stop loss, and we're going to run 150 points. You're not that guy, buddy. Like, I promise you. That's why the people that always try and act like they can get these crazy R multiples, it's not possible, right? Like, I'm not saying it's not possible, but like, especially when you're in a stage where you're just trying to get consistent, just go for the low-hanging fruit. Don't just get in and get out after 1 minute, right? But get in, get out at obvious swing points, obvious reasons, right? Don't get greedy. Chase the low-hanging fruit. Just be happy with what you can get, right? 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s, right? So this trade, this market, man, and again, I hate to be the guy to try and blame the market, and the market delivered pretty good today in terms of overall, right? It wasn't bad. I would say price actions have been pretty bad today, but that's something that we have to recognize as traders. We can't blame the market. We just have to blame ourselves for us pushing the button, us sitting here waiting for opportunities. So today was a really rough day for me, a really frustrating day, and I should have done a lot better. I really should have. It should have been a lot better, performance-wise, mental-wise. But like I said, man, I will never be negative again. Even my worst days can only be $150 loss for now, right, until we get out of drawdown. And that gives me comfort, because I know, cool, right, we have a bad day. Worst comes to worst, 150, we regroup, we come back better. So annoying that we couldn't get a win this week, and that's another thing with trading, man. That's one of the hardest things with trading, is that this week, objectively, we didn't have a big winning day, and it's rough to have a week where it's like, you know what, like, I didn't make any money this week, and almost the break even weeks are almost more frustrating than the losing weeks, because like, it's just, if you don't journal, if you don't, right, if we look back, right, objectively, Tuesday was the day before FMC, a lot of chop. I did a great job not taking a trade there. So if we don't trade, we can't make money, right? So we didn't make money that day. Cool. Wednesday, FMC. I just took a beach day with my friends. I didn't even bother trying to trade FMC because I knew the morning would probably be bad, right? I had some setups, but I don't need to push my luck on FMC, and I don't need to push my luck after FMC, because the volatility will be up and I can lose the 150 a lot quicker. So I took the day off. So that's 2 days. That's 40% of this week not even touching the charts, not even touching trade. So how do I expect to have a winning day if 40% of the week, almost half the week, I didn't touch the charts? Then what else happened? Monday, I'd have to look back and let's go. Let's see what it is, right? This is why we journal, right? This is why we journal right here. Let's see what happened Monday. Monday's price action, we took, let's see on the chart. Let's see, Monday of this week. Monday. It's the only day we had the journal yesterday. But Monday, we took 3 trades. We took a C-rated setup. What was the C-rated setup? Oh, it was this long. It wasn't a bad long, a 5-minute gap, 1-minute inverse, but it wasn't a great long because we were bearish. We were in a 4-hour gap. Then what do we get? We get a B plus setup. We had a short. We got stopped at break even. Cool. Probably could have avoided this one again, kind of like today's trade. When you get a big close through here and you're that close to the break even, you're probably not going to really get much out of the trade. And then we took a great trade. And then what did we say here? S&T high time key level, 5-minute tap, fair value gap tap, 1 minute, change state delivery, fair value gap, order block, IFVG, out of the 5-minute, fair value gap, data lows. Broke my rules by trading my stop so quick. Another trade that would have been break even if managed well. So it would have been break even trade. The idea plays out great. It would have stopped me out of break even regardless though, as it traded all the way back up just to deliver to the data lows. So let's see this trade. So this trade, we got in. This is a great trade, right? We had a 5-minute fair value gap. We had displacement, a fair value gap. We had change of state delivery. We had an inversion right here, enter on the inverse. We would have been stopped at break even, and it would never reach the data lows. It would have came up and then gone down, right? Choppy price action in the macro. This is a great trade. This is a great day. We had a great day here. Other times we take the same trade and it runs, you take profit and you have a great day. So we didn't get that Monday. Monday was break even day. Next 2 days I didn't trade. That's 60% of the week right there. 60% of the week. And then we have Friday where there's really nothing clear and obvious. There's really nothing clear and obvious. You couldn't really make more than about 50 points today unless you just have a completely different strategy than I do. So my point being is that trading isn't, it's so, you can't think in weeks. You can't think in days. You can't think that way because again, this week, if we think in weeks, oh wow, this whole week I didn't make money. But then you look back through the week and say, was there even an opportunity for me to really make money? And it wasn't the best week for me. It wasn't the best week for my model, for my strategy, for my confidence, right? So we can't take and judge ourselves on 1 week of trading on a really tough week, on a really high impact news week, on a really tricky week. We can't judge ourselves on this. But if I don't journal, if I don't reflect, if I don't review my thoughts and days, then I'm just going to look back and be like, man, what the heck happened? Like, again, if I didn't journal, if I didn't just look back, because I forgot what happened Monday, man. You know how much stuff happens throughout the day that you're not going to remember. That's why you have to journal. Because you're not going to remember. I did not remember Monday. I did not remember any of that. That's why at the end of the week, I always go back through my journal and say, okay, what happened this week? Because after this training session, before I started recording this video and started reflecting, right, it just felt like this week was a slap in the face. Like, man, what happened this week? Like, really, it really felt like someone slapped me in the face. This week slapped me in the face. And before reflecting on it, it's like, man, what just happened? You know, like, oh my gosh, what happened to me? What happened this week? Right? That's what I'm asking. Like, what happened? This has been a horrible week. And then you look through and you peel back the layers of the onion and you realize, okay, it wasn't even that bad of a week. It was a tricky week, but we did as well as we could, or we could have done better, sure. But we didn't do that bad, and we didn't really miss out on many opportunities. Yesterday, right, we had a fantastic setup yesterday after I posted on my Twitter, Diego B Trades on Twitter. What was great about this trade here? Well, we had swept this high, we had displacement lower, we had a 15-minute gap, and this is why I say, man, wait for these higher time frame confluences, wait for the clear setups to be obvious, because there's nothing here. There's no fair value gap reaction. This is the first time we traded into a 15-minute all day. And what do we get? We hop down to the 1 minute, slide over here, right? What do we have? We continue to be bearish. We get a 1 minute inversion. You could enter off this, stop at the high. Right, let's see what happens there. Let's see what the risk looks like. Boom, 1 minute inverse. Cool, 24-point stop loss. Give me that, right? 50-point take profit. Then what do we get? This is the move up that swept out the high that was in the key time frame, key fair value gap, right? That's a change of state delivery right there. So what do we get? We get change of state delivery. What do we get? We close below it here. What do we also get? A fair value gap. What do we get? We trade back to the change of state. We trade back to the fair value gap, to the inversion. And then we deliver. So we could have entered also off of this change state delivery. And you could have continued to have your stop here. 24 points still protected by an inversion, an order block, a 15-minute gap, consequent encroachment of the 15-minute gap. We might have even had an SMT here. Even makes it even better. Change state delivery, fair value gap, right? So many confluences. And these are the trades that pay you, right? This is no different than anything I ever look for. But I wasn't on my charts to see this. This was at 1 o'clock. This was right in the macro too. This candle closed right when the macro ended. And I just wasn't here. And that's the thing. Yesterday, we had a break-even day because we were getting chopped up and stuff throughout here. We locked our account and didn't take this setup, and it would have actually gotten us to this low here. Right? We had different opportunities. But if you look at the chart here, where was our setup? It was nowhere here. We didn't have our clear and obvious setup. Our clear and obvious setup presented here. And so it's like you have to remember, even with this tough week, small things. And it's so easy. I take some trades sometimes, and I'm like, and I just second guess myself. I second guess my ability to read the chart. I second guess everything I know because a trade chops. Because it's so rare to get a trade that works like this, where you just get in, you wait for everything, change state delivery, you set your limit order, it taps you in, and it just melts to your target. And that's what we are all hoping and dreaming for when we try and take a trade. And that's just another example, right? That's, yeah, hindsight, cherry pick, but it's not really, Let's see, this 1238, let's see if we have a SMT there. Probably not. 1238 yesterday. Yesterday was over there, 1238. 1238. We did not have an SMT. That would have made it even more insane. Same exact model in ES, 15-minute gap, inversion, change in state, pullback, boom, even better, right? And if you're not looking for that, if you don't have that framed in your mind, of that framework of 15-minute gap, small time frame confirmation, you just look at this, and you look at this on your chart, and it looks like a whole bunch of nothing, right? And that's the trick with trading, is that it's always going to feel like you don't know anything until your setup comes, until it's clear and obvious. This is clear and obvious to me. This isn't. And that's fine, right? That's fine. So, really tricky day today. Really tricky week. But that's all it was, right? That's all it was. It was a tricky week. A low trade opportunity week, right? Where we didn't have many opportunities to trade. And that's all it is. And we regroup and we come back next week. So, a rough day for my rules, but a great week, right? Although on the surface, when you dig a little deeper, it was a great week. And yeah, I'm super happy with the progress we made this week. And, again, man, that's why you have to journal, because it's so important to learn and see for yourself that this wasn't a horrible week. It just wasn't an ideal week for me. And I'm really excited to come back next week and try and do better, man. That's all we can do. So we still have this count. We have $618 draw line. So we have 4 more losing days, 150 in a row. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We still have 4 more days. So this count is looking to survive another month as long as we don't lose 2 of the days. So if we have 2 winning days at least, this count will survive at least another month, which is great, man. This is my first Express account, and it's lasted over 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and we traded it. So that's great, man. That's progress, that's experience, and we're just continuing to get better each and every day. And eventually it will all click, it will all work, and it'll be great, man. So I'm really excited for it, and I appreciate all you guys. I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer. And here's a little call out. And these gems at the end of my videos always seem to just print whenever I call them out. I really like this 2 minute and 1 minute for a long. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch it, but it's going to look like this, to this high. Scale some there, break even at these highs. I really like that. If it happens, this is 5 minute too. So that's a little call out. Let's just see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. I'll take it on paper. But yeah, why do I like that? Well, because I just think that we're going to go to these highs. If we're not going to go lower, we rebalanced equilibrium. I think we have enough juice to inverse this. We're going to keep going higher. But I really appreciate you guys, all the support you guys show me. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, do all this stuff, man. Help me get the channel out there to more people, because it makes me more money, man. It really does. It's really nice, because I'm not making money trading right now. So I want, I need some money, right? But no, I'm in all seriousness, man. Let me know how your week went. Probably was better than mine. If you made $1, it was better than, or if you made more than $30, you had a better week than me. So let me know how that went, man. And I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, you guys have a great weekend. Do something fun, man. Don't worry about the charts. Don't worry about anything. Just enjoy life. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.